Hey, what's up, y'all? For years, I have been avoiding doing anything but hand stitching leather because I didn't want to buy a $4,000 Cobra. I didn't want to buy one of the janky Chinese cobbler things off of Amazon that everybody says, yeah, they're fine once you mill them and sand them down and repaint them and put graphite grease all over them. And it's just too much work. So I'd been avoiding it, but I had this old sewing machine. This was the Brother CS5055 Project 1 Runway limited edition model, so we're talking about a decade old machine. It was in the basement, it was in a case being ignored, so I decided to jump onto it and see if I couldn't destroy it. A couple of things in order to set these machines up to do what you need to do. I did a little bit of research and found out I needed to crank up the thread tension to about 4, give or take. It's going to depend on what you're stitching and what thread you're using. None of my flat wax thread will work. It's too thick, so I got a 420D thinking I could pull that off. It's a rounded braided nylon, bonded nylon, but it's too thick and it winds up jamming up the needle. So I went to an upholstery thread, and we'll see if that works a little bit better. So far in my testing, it's run okay. Anything nylon and high tensile strength is going to work for you. It's not going to be as durable as hand stitching and saddle stitching stuff, but I figure if you're doing any belts or latigo, this is probably not going to be the tool for the job. But I've got some 2-ounce leftover black. This was from a gal who was putting together biker gear, and she was stitching out of this, had a bunch of leftover cutoffs, so I grabbed some of that. It's running about, I don't know, 2 ounce maybe. So let's see how that operates. I'm running about a 4 in my stitch width, and I just go real nice and easy, and it runs flawlessly. Don't have a problem getting a turn in it. If I want to pick up the pace a little bit, I sure can. No biggie. So that seems to do pretty well for me. It's got a good hold if you're doing LARP gear, if you're doing cosmetic armor and stuff like that. You're not actually in the SCA and beating on each other with it. Then that should be pretty good. If you're going to put together something for the Ren Fair, I think this will do the trick for you. That's a 3 ounce. And there's a problem right there. She gets a little sticky. Well, the stitches are still good, but what can happen is that needle will stick in that leather when you're going through more than one layer, and it wants to pull the whole project up. The foot won't necessarily accommodate it. In order to make this happen, off of a regular machine, I ordered a walking foot off of Amazon for like an additional, I don't know, $12, and I got some. I think these are 116 machine needles that accommodate the larger thread. I have not tried this before. I'm going to go through some 4 ounce and see where that goes. Wish me luck. Ooh, hello, lockup. it's getting stuck a little bit. I'm getting an error 6 message on this machine, which tells me that the bobbin, the thread's locked up behind the bobbin. And here's a great example of what this looks like when you start to go south on your thread. It just start pilling up like that on the fore end of the needle, and that's where the lockup's happening. All right, I'm going to recant my previous statement that 4-ounce will not fly. It will absolutely go through there. The thread was wound too loosely on my bobbin, and that's what was getting caught up and stopping the whole process. So we can add that in. You know, don't run out and buy a regular sewing machine and think you can do everything you need to do. But if you have, I had a clunker that was in a box being ignored for years, and I put $20 into it, and now I'm sewing leather with it, so I can't complain about that at all. Thanks for coming along for the experiment. We'll see you the next round.